What's going on, guys? Naz here on the Spooling Up channel. Today you join me in my BMW E46 330 Ci. Today what I'm going to be doing is replacing the lower window seals on the rear quarter windows. I've got two genuine BMW parts here. I can't remember how much these cost me. I'll have to put the price in the description of the video, but I'll pick these up from BMW dealer, same as I did with the scuttle panel that I replaced down by the bottom of the windscreen. That's another genuine part that I bought from BMW. So I'm giving this car a little bit of TLC at the moment. I've just had the wheels refurbed as well, and I've also just got 4 brand new tires on the car. I think all in all for the wheel refurb and the new tires, it set me back like £1,000, and I've just done about, I think, 200 quid on these seals and the scuttle panel as well. So let's go ahead anyway and try and get these on. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Looks like a bit of a fiddly job, but we'll go for it anyway. Okay, so it's time to replace these rear window sills down here. As you can see, they are completely perished and in a really bad state, but that's just the way they go after a while. I think they just get weathered, they become a bit brittle, and as you can see, it's begun to flake and peel off, so they're well overdue a replacement now. Hopefully these brand new parts go on nice and easily and end up looking really good. Now this side here is not as bad. It's not actually got any bits of it missing, but it is starting to crack and it is starting to chip off, so it's time to just do both of them. Right, so when it comes to this job, I know some people completely remove the rear window. I may do that myself. I think it makes it a lot easier and you could do a better job. But for now, just gonna open that rear window there just to get better access to things. But more than likely, I will decide to remove that just so I can make sure that I do a tip-top job on this car. So I'm hoping this is easy enough to see, but you can just see down here where the seal is completely broken and perished alongside where the window itself actually closes. So not actually making any kind of efficient seal for the window at all anymore. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead with starting to remove the rear windows. Right, now, as usual, in order to remove something, you can't just straight away go for it. There are things that we need to get out of the way before we can even access any of the fixings for the window, and we need to take off the rear bench, take off this corner part of the seat. We're going to have to remove the interior panel here before we can even think about disconnecting the window. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. I believe for the rear bench we're going to be able to pop it up there. I'm going to go ahead and pop the other side, and I'll probably take the seat indoors just so it's out of the way, and then I'll start popping the corner off. Okay, so now we've got that rear bench out of the way, we have revealed all kinds of treasure left by the previous owners over the years. There's a marble there. There looks like there's some slippers for a doll, a hair clip, few old 10p's, 2p's, an old eye off something. But yeah, there's just all manner of like dirt and gunk back here, so I'm going to give this a good clean up before the seats go back in. Now what I've just done here at the back is there's a little clip here. You're supposed to push the inside of it in and then it will release and you'll be able to remove it like so. So before you start, they'll be flush, and then once you push the inside in, it will release this clip, and we'll then be able to remove this plastic cover up here. I'm going to need 2 hands for it, so I'm just going to put the camera down, but I'm just going to remove this top piece here. There is just this little clip here as well that goes on the side there, so that when you remove it, you need to know to pop that side clip off, and then this will come off and the clip will remain there for now. Right, so the correct way to remove this corner piece, as you can see, there's a vertical clip there, and also this one, is to actually pull it from the top, and then you'll be able to lift the whole unit out, which will lift this clip out of where it sits here. Be careful not to yank it from the bottom first, just sort of try and ease it from the top, get this out, and then you'll be able to lift it out of the way. Right, so the next thing that we want to do is get the 2 torque screws underneath this armrest. There's one sort of towards the middle and one towards the back. I believe they are T20, so we want to remove them, and then hopefully we'll be able to give a tug on the interior panel and pull it away. Right, so all you need to do is start giving a gentle pull away at the top like I have there, and it will start to come out of this top seal and begin to loosen off everywhere else as well. Just work it. If you feel a bit of resistance, be careful, but I'll just be easing the rest of this panel off now, hopefully get that out of the way. Right, so all I did was got my fingers in the gap in the end, ran them all the way along. Now we have the trim piece actually separated. I've not pulled it out because it seems to be a bit tight down here, and I don't want to break anything or struggle to get it back in. I mean, I probably could remove this trim along the sill or skirt, but I'm not actually going to bother. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to be removing these 2 fixings here to try and get this panel out of the way, because then that will reveal the fixings for the actual window. So again, this interior panel, I've not fully removed it, but I'll be taking off the center part of this, probably with a small screwdriver, and then I should be able to pull the fixings out on both sides, and hopefully we can get this panel out of the way. Alright, so now we've removed those 2 clips. This is falling out of the way really nicely, so we can just move that out of the way, and then underneath these 2 covers we've got the fixings for the window. We need to disconnect it from the rear as well, and then we should be able to lift it out of the way. Right, so once those 2 little covers are removed, we reveal the 10mm nuts there, so they'll be coming off. But first of all, I'm going to pop off the rear of the window from the mechanism, from the motor, and hopefully things will be nice and easy from there. Again, it's very difficult to film these kind of angles, but all I'm going to do is get my little screwdriver in here behind this black cover, and I'm just going to pop off the little cover there, trying my best not to obviously damage the window. There we go. And then we'll be able to disconnect the window here. There's like a little ball joint, so I'm going to pop that off, and then we should be able to undo the 2 10mm and get the window off. Popping this mechanism off is really easy. You just need to get your hand on the rod, pop it out, and there you go, window's nice and free. Right, so there we have it, 1 rear quarter window removed. Now I can show you the extent of the damage to this seal. Look, it's literally crumbling, like it's finished, man. It's disintegrating as soon as I'm touching it. So and that's the same all the way along to the back, so it's good timing to be changing this now. In order to get this off, we've got a little clip here which we need to pick out, and then we can start trying to peel this off and see how far we get with our hands. May need some scraping action, but depends on how strong that double-sided adhesive is on the underside of this trim. Okay, so because this seal is so bad, I'm actually able to start peeling it off by hand. So I'm going to do it by hand, and then anything else I'm going to try and get rid of the best I can. Make sure it's completely smooth down there before I stick the new one on. But for now I'm just going to concentrate, I'll do it while the camera's off, in just removing this whole seal here. Right, so I managed to get all of the double-sided tape off. Don't get me wrong, it took me about an hour and a half. But just with a little bit of heat from the hairdryer, a little bit of WD-40 and a bit of persistence, I managed to scrape it off with my fingernails. Now all I'm going to do is wipe this whole panel down here with some degreaser, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick the new seal on, and hopefully I'll get it in the right place first time. Alright, so I've managed to stick the new one down. All I did was got it in place where it needed to be at the rear, and then had a look to see if I was in the right place, and I literally laid it down, made sure the hole lined up for the clip to be put back in, and that's it. New seal in place. Time for the window to go back on, but I'm just happy, admiring how clean and how good it looks at the moment. I need to actually replace one of the other seals. As you can see down here, it's begun to get a bit tatty on this side, so that'll be my next job. But sadly I don't have that, and just be doing this one for the day. But yeah, time to get the window and put that back on. But I cleaned up everything underneath where the window sits, and it's all ready to go back on nicely. Gonna make sure that this seal round here is really nice and clean as well, because you know, it's not often you get a chance to clean these areas, so it's best to make the most of having the window off at the moment. Okay, so seals on, windows on, everything's all back as it should be on the outside. Only thing you need to do when you're putting the window back on and you've got the 2 bolts that go through the pillar here, you need to make sure that you've got the window adjusted correctly, because the whole thing pivots. I'll show you when I go to do the other side. Just make sure that you get the window set, because otherwise it won't be level down here. You could have it slightly raised or slightly down too low, so you may have to sort of close it and see where you are and then decide to make adjustments. But managed to get this side done, so I'll move on to the next side. I'm gonna have to leave it till tomorrow because it took so long to get that double-sided tape off. I've run out of time, but hopefully this job will be all boxed up by tomorrow. And really hope this video helps some of you guys, because other people's videos online certainly helped me. Right guys, so it's now the next day and I'm going to move on to doing this driver's side. The seal here is nowhere near as bad as what the passenger side was like, but it won't be too far behind it, so I'm just going to go and change it as well. And it's already started to break here, so it's time for that to also get changed. And then I'll literally be doing a whole cleanup of the interior here, because of all the things that were left under the seats and all the gunk and rubbish that's collected over the years. And then I'll be putting everything back together and moving on to the next thing. So without further ado, I'm going to start stripping all of this, but I'm not going to record it because you've seen it already. I'll just show you what the end result's like. Alright, so we now have the driver's side seal in place, looking great, lines up perfectly with the one for the front door as well. So it's just time to get the window back on. Okay, so things are going well. Window's back in. Adjusted the window just to make sure that it doesn't actually catch on the sill as it moves in and out, because if you have the window placed too far down, then it will actually catch on that sill as it opens and closes. You can just adjust it by making sure that you have each bolt slacked off ever so slightly, and you can adjust the level of the window. So I've done that. Just a quick one, if you are undoing these nuts or putting the nuts back on, you can drop the nut itself down into this part of the B pillar, but it's okay because there is a stop here and there's also a stop down here somewhere, so you can get a magnet in, a very thin magnet if you've got one, and try and pick the nut up, because it happened to me. But since then I've managed to retrieve the little 10mm. But for now I'm going to work on putting the interior back in both sides and then get this job finished off once and for all. Right, so the interior has gone back together and it's gone back a treat, to be honest with you. And it's testament to these cars actually, because they are really well made. So when you take them apart, you can feel the quality of the parts, and when you put them back together, they go back in really sturdy. So I'm so glad that that's done now on the car. I've given the interior a good little clean up as well. Things are looking nice and fresh. So yeah, now this job's done, I think I'll be moving on to the bonnet sensor, or like bonnet switch, because my alarm's been going off, so I've disconnected that for now, and I'll be moving on to the bonnet release mechanism. I think one of the springs is gone, so I've just bought a new one of those as well, which I think was £27 from BMW. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be sure to upload again soon.